Hello, everybody, and hello, Steve. Welcome back to another episode of Zacuto Live.
Oh, that was so formal. I
know,
like that.
I'm just playing around, and today's episode is about our American arms, or otherwise known as Z-arms.
Yeah, I love these things, man. This was something that you and I were so passionate about from the beginning because I'm a director and you're my DP, and for 35 years, and the number one thing I do when I walk up to that monitor on a camera is do what?
Right, you pull on the monitor and adjust it, and it comes loose.
Every director just grabs the thing.
On the traditional arms. But before we get into that and the history, let's bring in Rachel. She's got a few things that she's going to announce for us.
Yeah,
Hello,
hi everybody,
Rachel.
good morning. I will be following the chat as usual and passing your questions along to Steve and Jens, so let me know if you have anything you'd like to talk about. And since we're talking about our new rail arms today, we'd like to offer 25% off everything in our arms and mounts category on the Zacuto store for the next 48 hours. That's the new arms, our standard arms, all of our different mounts with coupon code LIVEARMS25. I'm going to put the details in the chat in just a second. So let's get started and maybe talk a little bit about the quick release arms in general and what your inspiration was for them, Jens.
Right, so getting back to that history. So remember back in 2005 when we started to develop the...
No, I've lost my memory since from yesterday back.
That's why I'm reiterating this.
Okay.
So we started to develop the base plates, okay, to support cameras, to support monitors and all that. And we quickly realized, actually we even knew that before that we hated the arms that were already in the industry because they were threaded on the top and bottom, okay? And so when you just screw a monitor into a single threaded piece, it's going to come undone, especially when you grab the monitor and start to turn it.
It's not just me, man. Every single director, you walk up to the camera and that thing is set for either the assistant or the operator.
Right.
So you're a director, the first thing you do is grab it, and now this whole thing is unscrewing.
But they come loose anyway, even without that, just moving the camera around. So we hated that. That was one of our first products that, besides the base plates, that we wanted to correct and have of our own design. We also needed them stronger to hold the LH900, which was the predominant monitor at the time, with a battery that was 6 pounds. 6 pounds it had to hold, cantilevered out even.
That is a lot. And
it's not an issue today anymore. It still can hold that weight, but it's, the monitors are far lighter, so you got no issue.
Yeah, but there's other things that are, no, what are you talking about? People are mounting all these recorders with batteries and all this stuff. But
okay.
I want to go to the wide shot because I want to show something. One of my pet peeves was this, is when we were using, and it's still a problem today. It's like when you're on the tripod, the number one thing you do is you're running from here to there, and you know what happens every time that arm comes loose and we go wham, that monitor slaps the camera. But when you can just do that and you say to the assistant, here, take this, or you put it in your one hand and you do something, but the point is
quick release.
Quick release. That is the thing that we have always loved and always wanted to do with all of our products.
So the original version...
Gotta take my glasses off to do this.
The original version of the quick release, maybe we can put up that first slide, is with our rod mounts. I mean our, what do we call it? The ends of it were 15 millimeter rods. So you could stick that arm into anything that could clamp onto a 15 millimeter rod.
Yeah, let's put that slide up. So you had it up a second ago. There you go, bam.
Right, so what this required though is that you have a Zacuto, this little guy that you see on the top there, that lives on the bottom of your monitor and that can clamp the rod. And then you would also put the same piece on your camera handle or on camera body, wherever you have the 1/4-20 screw, and those little fangs prevent it from turning, because you know how we hate the turning.
Well, yeah, so the fangs could actually, were screw threads, so you could actually thread them in and then you'd pull back. There's a gap, a track there to lock whatever device you wanted to lock in.
Right.
But now we had other mounts too. See, the system here had many different types of mounts. Sometimes here, let me show them right here. Here, let me swap this out with you. So like in this case, this particular top plate of ours has a, there you go. Okay. So look here, you can see how you can just plop this in and lock it, okay, and that's nice. Now you only need up here, you only need a Zacuto up top. So
that lives on your monitor or whatever.
There's many scenarios where you will have a rod lock. So that was the design of this, and it was also threaded, if you can see in there. So, you know, sometimes we thought, oh, it might be interesting to be able to put a rod in here and be able to extend it.
Right.
Let's go to some of these BTS images and we can see how various different ways we did this. Okay, so here you can see he's got a rod holding, looks like a small HD monitor, and he's operating that way. Let's see the next image. Here, it looks like he's holding, here he's using a Zacuto, but on the top he actually has a rod lock of some kind.
And it's going to a monitor that's behind the camera, it looks like.
Exactly. Oh yeah, so he has two Zacutos. Let's go to the next image. This is Rob Kazmarek, and here he's using an arm and he's holding a Red Pro monitor.
That's our long arm, yeah, and it's attached to the bottom.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we have two
Right.
sizes, long and short.
Yep.
Okay, what do we got next? Yeah, this is a very typical type of mount where if you're not using an EVF and you want to look at a monitor, here's a shoulder mount rig with the rod going into a rod lock.
Looks like a Shogun Inferno, so he's also using it as a recorder, probably.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, great. So, Rachel, any questions?
Oh, check out this one.
Oh, whoa, well, yeah. Wait. Sorry, Rachel. This is one of my favorite things we've ever made, and for some odd reason, it's not popular. But if you want one of these things, you can send me an email, steve@zacuto.com, and I will build one for you because I have the parts. Look at how great this is. This was actually on a piece we just shot called Randos. It was a TV pilot, and here he's got a wireless fizz unit, and that is a spud or a stud or whatever you want to call it.
The 5-inch size that's on your C-stands.
Yeah, it's 5/8 inch. So this little adapter is 5/8 inch on one side and it's 15 mil on the other, but he can quickly pop this on and off of a C-stand to pull focus.
Right. Well, you can articulate the monitor to exactly where you need to.
Here
with
he
your arm.
is. Now he's sitting in a chair and he's looking at the monitor from above. Nice picture. Okay, Rachel, what do you got?
Yeah, we got a comment from Olaf, who says it looks very modular, which it absolutely is. And now with the new stuff, it's even more modular and easy to fit into your kit. Can we take a look at the new Z-Rail arms?
Sure. So Oleg, here's the thing that I really like about the new Z-Rail. First off, we've been working on this thing. I know this sounds nuts. People probably don't believe this, but it took us like a year to get this just ever so right. So here, like on our top handle, rail is built in. So you can just lock it on there. It's easy as that. Now Jens also did this really nice thing that I love here. And
You got your glasses on?
no.
Or off? I mean.
Off, they're off. Look at how he built these new top plates where they're perfectly flat, but the rail is built in.
Yeah, that's
So-
not gonna, I would,
Here, so you can slide the arm on just like this if you need to, if you're not using a handle. And if you look here, we mounted one of these mini adapter rails, which comes with the arm. And if you look here, you see how it has this little bit of lip? So now this can't turn, and now you can slide the arm on, and it actually ends there, and you can lock it up. And if you don't happen to have rail built in, or you don't have a top handle with rail, that's one way to go.
there's another picture of it there.
Yeah. Oh, this is really cool. So here you can see, let's go to the picture. Yeah. So here you can see how we actually put it on a handle. And I love this because what you do is you stick it on the handle, you push it all the way against the side of the handle, and you drive the screw in there. And now it won't rotate on the top of a camera, which is a really great thing. So when you get one of the arms here, let's go to one of the arm pictures. Okay, so this is the arm. It's essentially two rail adapters.
Rail clamps.
Oh, and there's one other neat thing that we didn't talk about, is that it actually happens to, it's not random, but we angled these ends so that it actually acts as a cold shoe. So you can stick any sort of cold shoe device and clamp it in one end of this and then put the other end on.
Like a microphone. I've seen people use these as microphone mounts.
Yeah, and that is a serious cold shoe, man. Then nothing is ever coming out of that. Let's go to the next picture. Okay, in this example, this is what you actually get. This is a large arm, and it comes with the mini rail. And the mini rail, like we said, is great. You can use it or you may not need to use it, but most likely that is going to go on your device, your monitor or whatever, and the other end is going to go somewhere on a piece of rail that you probably own, like here's some red rail. Oh, and we should say that this works on NATO rail, red rail, Z rail,
right. All the rails.
Yeah, all rail.
They're all a standard size. And that's part of why we decided to do this, is that rail, ever since red came out, became like the, go-to quick release sort of mount. And it just made sense to have our arms adapted to that, because a lot of people already have rail, so that takes care of the one end. Then they just need that little widget on top that it comes with our arms for, to complete it for the monitor.
Right. Okay, here's another image where we're showing it on our hand grip. Now, what I love about the hand grip here is that you built the rail. Here, maybe you can.
Oh yeah,
let's go to the close-up cam here.
Let's see where it is.
Okay, so we built the rail into. So not only do you have these screws, and you have a cold shoe, but you also have the ability to have a rod loop go on the end of this, and this itself is rail. Mm-hmm. So you can stick it right on. Okay, Rachel, what do you got for us?
Yeah, what are the arms made out of?
Oh, good question.
Stainless steel and aircraft aluminum, 6061, I believe it is.
Wow.
Oh, and then inside the pin, the thing that gives it its strength is that when you twist that lever, our bow tie lever there, which gives you a lot of leverage, we have these heat-treated, I forget the type of steel, but it's a heat-treated steel in there that are super strong, that thrusts against that ball joint, both ball joints, to lock it in place.
Yeah, I mean, so people know, a lot of people don't know how an arm works. Essentially what it is it's two rods, and when you turn the screw, it shoves the rods towards those balls. Mm-hmm. Now, the key to getting a lot of people say that our arm is like the strongest arm they've ever felt, and I would tend to agree, and I'll tell you why. I shouldn't really tell them why, but because other people are going to do this now, but the old style arms, the pin was, you'd think that the larger the pin, the more surface area you're touching on the steel ball, it's actually stronger. The opposite is true, and we learned that over many prototypes. The tinier the surface of that pin, the stronger the arm is. Mm-hmm. Yep. So, what else do you got, Rachel?
Yeah, so Jens, you mentioned a monitor a little earlier that was sort of your, when you were building it, was what you were focusing on in terms of weight. Is that still the weight capacity of these arms?
Oh yeah, so that hasn't changed. If anything, it's actually improved over time. But again, monitors are lighter, so you can, use it for other things. Like Steve said, people are putting these recorders on with tons of batteries, so their weight requirement is well beyond what you probably need, but it can still easily handle up to probably past 6 pounds these days.
Yeah.
Sometimes the sales department gets questions about whether the angle that your arm is at will vary how much weight it can hold. Like if the arm is really extended, if it will change, or whether it sort of has to be vertical.
Yeah, that's
Is that true?
That is true. That's physics. When you have something cantilevered out, like on an angle there, the force that's on the end, especially if it's longer, is much greater.
So remember, we tested that years ago. There was one test that we did, and you said it's never going to work. And I always said that it does work. Do you remember what that was, where we had that arm way out? Mm-hmm. It was coming out the back of a base plate or something, and we had a huge amount of weight on it. Yeah. And do you remember what that was?
You mean what the weight was, or why we did it?
Yeah, why we did that. And you were like, it's never going to hold.
We were just trying to come up with our testing process.
Oh, that's right.
Probably for when we're making them, to weed out ones that don't pass the test. So we had, way beyond the kind of weight that would normally be put on there, just to test them and weed out the ones that don't, pass.
Yeah, I want to show one thing that we never really talked about, is what is an arm? Mm-hmm. So an arm is, you loosen this here. Let's go to the wider shot. There we go. Perfect. This is good right here.
Okay.
So an arm is this. So you loosen your lever, and now you have the ability to kind of place anything in space wherever you want it. And then what you do is you find the spot, like let's say this is it for me, and then you tighten the lever, and then it's there. It's locked up. It's so strong I can lift the entire, camera with it. That's the key to a real arm. And then again, boom, off it goes. If you want it back on, You slide it on and you lock it. If you want the top part off, I
Yeah,
mean that's
all fast.
Yeah, you can't beat that. You can't do that with a screw type arm.
There are other types of arms, though, too, that require several steps that you have to unloosen this part and unloosen something else to make it all articulate. This is really a one-step process. You loosen
Right.
it, move it, lock it.
Well, you're talking about like an arm that has rosettes on it. So if an arm, and we don't need that. Our arm is strong enough.
Right.
But if you have a rosette, you got to undo that screw a lot, pull the stuff apart, you know, and then be able to adjust it. You got some grinding issues and whatnot. All right, Rachel, I have said everything I can possibly say about arms. Do you have any other questions?
Just one last question. So we have a small arm, which is 6 inches, a large arm, which is 12 inches. They do both come with that little piece. So for what reason would someone choose a small arm over a large arm or vice versa?
Well, I mean, the example we have in front of us is a perfect case where you don't really need the length. You just need articulation so that the monitor can be positioned at the angle that you want, and you don't need the reach. So that's when I would use the small arm. But as you saw in one of those earlier pictures where you need to sort of hang your monitor far out, like as a viewfinder, if you're on a shoulder mount, I would go with the long arm. But if you don't want to get 2 arms, you can get the long arm and it folds up pretty tight so that you can still be in a small space.
Yeah, that's a good point. See, like, look at how, I'm going to show them right now. Look at how I can get this in, you know, pretty much the same as a short arm. You know, I've got it really close. Or if I want, let's go back to the shot of me, the wider one. Look at, I can get this thing, you know. Now, if you've got a director or a producer here and you got a lot of people watching this particular monitor, now the operator's over here, the assistant's over here, and a lot of people can see that monitor. Because there's times where, as a DP, you're like, just look at the damn monitor and get out of my face. So this is the perfect example for that.
Or hung over here.
And again, you know, you can remove it super quick and you can put it somewhere else. They can hold it. They can put them in these handhold devices. That's, you know, there's something great about being able to just snap it off there.
Love it.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, we do have one last comment from Victor Bart, who says, I like the Z-Rail trend. It's just solid and quick release. And we agree. So thank you, Victor.
Well, we love
and
Victor.
thank you,
He's a
everybody,
good
for
friend.
joining us.
All right.
I know, he's a good guy.
We'll be bringing one to IBC for you.
Okay.
Yes, he says he wants to take a look. So thank you, everybody, for watching. And a big thank you to ICANN, who provide all the lighting for our show. Be sure to take advantage of our coupon before Friday at noon. It's 25% off our entire arms and mounts category on the Zacuto store with coupon code LIVEARMS25. The link is in the chat. On next week's show, we will be talking about the science of storytelling with some special guests. So make sure you join us then. Have a good week. Bye-bye.